Plus, I'm joined by Salman Sheikh. Now, he's going to be sharing with us his work with him being the founder of the Islamic Imprints Art Gallery. He's a dental student, and he also works with the Refugee Crisis Foundation. You're a busy young man, Salman. MashaAllah.
It's good to keep busy, alhamdulillah.
Lots of different hats that you're wearing, but as a show that's passionate about creativity and humanitarian causes, where did your energy and inspiration come from regarding the arts and creativity?
That's really a passion that started when I was younger. You know, I like to think when I was younger, I was a creative child. I just, I like to follow my imagination. But really, the drive has come from my family. They've been doing charitable works ever since my parents were young, and even before that. And so it's really following a family tradition of just trying to do our bit and leave a positive imprint, if you like, on the world around us. You know, leave the world a better place than when you inherited it. And I think that's really the drive for us. Just spread humanity, spread the goodness.
MashaAllah.
It's lovely, isn't it? And I think the arts world is linked with lots of different cultures and history. And you know, the Muslim art world is a rich history. There's a rich history there. It goes back to the Andalusian times. You know, we've got inspiration through architecture, and so much creativity. However, contemporary Muslim art or Islamic art seems to be at a little bit of a standstill. Would you agree with that?
I'd say that development is definitely happening in terms of contemporary Islamic art. You have an award-winning digital artist in the studio right now.
Woo!
And just because art is done by Muslims does not necessarily make it Islamic art, if you like. However, a lot of Islamic art is rooted in its traditions. It's rooted in following the master calligraphers and following the very technique-sensitive traditions of oils on canvases, or working with leather, and this working with wood, carpentry. There's a lot of different styles out there. But what you are seeing is new outlets emerging, such as our own gallery, for young artists who are looking to develop their own style, and who are looking to have a contemporary Islamic art technique, if you like. And that very much includes digital art, very much includes sort of a big pop art movement which is happening at the moment as well.
And because your gallery is a pop art gallery, and what is
pop up?
Pop up. You know, I'm wearing my braces. You know, you're the perfect person for this show, and I'm struggling to speak, and I'm getting all my words. They're coming out all over the place. That's what I want to say. So it's a pop-up gallery, but you do work with pop art?
Absolutely. In fact, we've just taken on one new artist, Farah Boyru, who is doing. In fact, she's been on your show before. She's been doing some fantastic work with pop art. And it's artists like her who have had a bit of a run in the media. They've done a few exhibitions, but they're struggling to really get that traction and really get the promotion that they need, and that their work deserves, to be honest.
Why are they struggling to get the promotion?
I'd say it really comes down to the outlets that are available and the funding that those outlets have access to.
Interesting. And so are there outlets across the country, specific ones that they've featured at, and are those outlets independent?
No, absolutely. There is some great work being done to promote Islamic art, for not just by ourselves, but we're building on the work that people have been doing for generations now. And particularly the last 50 years, there's been some incredible work done to try and promote Islamic art and culture within the UK. And that's crucial, not just to Muslim communities, but particularly to non-Muslim communities, to really, I don't necessarily like the word integration, but to really join together, to really bring different communities together and open the doors to interfaith dialogue. And that is exactly what we're trying to do. Not necessarily because other people haven't been doing it well enough, but just to build on the back of the example that the previous generations have shown us. And what we're finding is that these outlets are not, the events, need to kind of keep moving, and the industry needs to keep developing, particularly here in the UK. And what you see is an incredible art scene out in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and Singapore, internationally renowned art scenes there is fantastic, and Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur. And the UK's Islamic art scene is not on that level.
Is it not being taken seriously by the Muslim communities? Is that the problem that we're having?
Yeah, good point. It's personally, we feel that to spread Islamic art, to make it more popular, to raise awareness of it, what we have to do is start within our own Muslim communities. And increase the awareness of that within those communities, and particularly increase the support for young artists and for art itself.
But isn't it down to investment and funding, and it's not a career that a lot of families would kind of motivate their children to do, because there doesn't seem to be enough, it's the income is limited, so it's for the love of it rather than for work.
Absolutely. I mean, I was speaking to an artist the other day who, alhamdulillah, she's made it quite big in the East, and she's doing some great things out there. And she said, look, inspire young people by all means. I like what you're doing, Salman, but make sure you tell them the realities of it. It's not necessarily a well-paying job.
Of course,
but there are a couple of things with this: the funding and the support. It starts on a family and community level. Anyone who wants to go into the arts, especially at a young age, is generally, I'd say, from South Asian communities, generally discouraged, because you need to be, an accountant or a doctor or a dentist.
Or a dentist, yeah.
Absolutely. Pot kettle black, you know what I'm saying? I'm a dental student myself.
I'm just trying to work this out. How you're a dental student, but you're doing this as well. It's a lot, as you're balancing both.
I am, but it's balancing both passions. I mean, I come from a healthcare family, but we've always diversified and tried to do other things. This is probably the most stark contrast that we've got, healthcare and art, but it's following what I enjoy, and it's following what I genuinely believe is work that is necessary in this country. But in terms of familial support and community support, it's fully understandable how first generation, second generation, third generation immigrants to this country, who Muslim communities make up quite a large part of that, would tell their kids to focus on income earning careers, things like accountancy and professional careers, and the arts. If it doesn't pay so well, obviously that's going to be discouraged, because these families don't have a stable support. However, now that we're getting to that third, fourth generation of immigrant, and actually the new generation are more British than they were anything else. Ethnically I'm British Pakistani, but I can't speak Urdu, so I'm far more British than anything else. And our families have a strong base in the UK. We now these are emerging communities who have great strength within them, and financially they are stable, alhamdulillah. So it allows us to actually have a bit more freedom and follow what we really want to do. Like Zara here is following the digital art, and that's fantastic.
From biomedical science. This is really quite intriguing. Zara, you're listening to Salman, and how does it make you feel? He's giving us lots of really confident, and lots of confidence actually, in the emerging Muslim art scene.
Yeah, it definitely is really interesting hearing these questions and what he has to say, because a lot of it I can agree with.